Hey guys, Lord Sora here. As the Season 2 is approaching, we're back with more Necromancer PvP content. Since the Season 2 features and class changes are finalized, it is time for me to start prepping our next PvP build for the upcoming season. I've been already start diving into build planners and playing with some numbers, so I'm gonna cover some critical changes and potential tier crafting for Season 2. As the theme of the season is blood, and there's a lot of changes coming to Overpower builds. We're going to be initially focusing on a blood build. I do feel like there's some big potential of blood builds going into Season 2. Before I jump into some numbers, let's talk about some of our main problems we face as a Necro in PvP. Disclaimer, this is more relevant for fights when mobs are not around, since mob density really helps with us covering some of our weaknesses. So compared to other classes, we don't have as many immunes or mobility as Sorks, similar to rogues. We can't survive like they do, and we are not as tanky as barbs. So our damage scales as fight goes on, and we have to set up our combo to secure those kills. And when barb and rogue and Sorks just jump right out of the bed, flaming you with damage, it's very hard for us to find those kill windows, especially while we are a bit more squishy or slow in general. And our main defense is mist, and with no mob density, it's not as easy to rely on it. So summary, our damage ramps up as fight goes on, and it's not as easy for us to survive when mobs are not around. Due to these reasons, actually, currently I'm sitting at 25k HP with Elixir, running 2H Great Sword setup, which I plan to cover that build in another video, which might give you guys some ideas on how to continue with Shadow Wave build in Season 2. But mainly I was trying to find ways to have just enough tankiness and straight up damage without having to wait for a ramp up with Shadow Blight passive, etc., which I had some success with that I'm excited to share that in another video. But let's focus on Season 2 now. Like I said, in Season 1 with an Elixir I'm sitting at 25k HP, but in Season 2 we might be able to get beyond 40k HP, which is why I also think we might be able to do better, especially in dueling setting without any mobs. I have run some numbers already in D4 Planner, so check this out. With new item levels being increased and we can target farm some of the Uber uniques, that we are able to easily get to 35k HP, and this does not account the blood golem sacrifice. We should add another 5k. Then if we use an elixir, we might even get close to 50k HP. Speaking of Uber uniques that helps us get this much HP, these three uniques are the ones I'm definitely be going after immediately 24/7 until I get one. Shaco, which is desired by everyone, but also Doombringer and Grandfather, which they both provide massive amount of damage as well as insane amount of HP, and the item powers being up to 925, we are able to get some crazy affix bonuses from our regular ancestral gear and Uber uniques as well. If you haven't seen it already, with Season 2 changes, now we will be able to actually farm uniques and Uber uniques. So hopefully with enough grinding, we all will be able to get the Uber uniques we desire for our builds. For Shaco, Grandfather and Doombringer, we will have to farm the boss Duril. So what does this high amount of HP means? Let's go over some of the key Vampiric Powers we can benefit from with having this much HP. Undying. Casting skills heals you for 3% life, double this while below 50%. So let's say we have 40k HP, with every cast of the skill we will heal ourselves 1200 or 2400 if it's below 50%. Another good one, Resilience. 1% damage reduction for each 2% life you're missing. Considering how much HP we have, we'll be able to have insane amount of DR. Another defensive and offensive one is Hemomance, which will cause 80% of our max life as a physical damage, as well as 1% heal from our max life, which will be another 400 healing per cast. In addition to all this, I plan on trying my luck with Blood Surge from the start, which should heal us another 3% of our max life. So combine all these lifesteal bonuses, we might heal up to 4k heal per cast, which is really not a bad value. Additionally, we will have tons of blood orbs laying around as well, so it might be quite unkillable with this setup. On top of all this, we have also had some changes to some of our passives that will increase our healing received, which also should buff some of this healing. For example, the Gruesome Mending passive has been reworked. Instead of receiving the healing buff, when we are below 50% health. Now our healing received will be buffed from all sources directly up to 30%. Well, you may say we figured out how to live and survive, how are we gonna do damage? Since we're going to be an overpower build, the more max HP we have, the more Fortify we will stack and more scaling we will get from overpowered abilities. And with new Vampiric Powers as well as Necro's toolkit, we might be able to overpower almost every 3 attack or so. Let's do a small calculation how max life will help us dish out more overpowered damage based on the new formula. In our example, let's say we have 40k max life and 40k fortified life, and our base life will be around 8k as per usual in the endgame. Let's calculate the overpowered damage bonus we will get from the Fortify first. It says 1% of your base life you have in fortified HP. So our base life being 8000, 1% of 8000 will be 80. This calculation is telling us that we are getting 2% additive damage for every 80 life within 40k HP. To find out how many 80 life we have in 40k max life, we divide 40k by 80 and we find there are 500 of them. And now we multiply this by 2% since it says per, which will give us 1000% additive overpowered damage bonus when we are fully fortified. Similar to fortified, let's calculate the overpowered damage bonus we will get from the max life. Again, let's say we have 40k HP, and in this one we have to calculate bonus life, which calculation states that anything above your base life is your bonus life, which we can find out by subtracting 80k from 40k. Then our bonus life will be equal to 32k. And now again we need to find out how many 80 life we have within 32k bonus life, which we calculate as 400. Since again we get 2% additive damage per 80 life and there are 480 life in 32,000, this equals to 800% additive overpowered damage we gain having 40,000 max life. So combined both fortified and max life values, we are getting 1800% additive overpowered damage bonus. This is absolutely massive. In addition to this massive overpower bonus, some of the Vampiric Powers will also be really good offensively. Specifically, the Blood Boil Vampiric Power will also be super strong, helping us overpower more often, especially combined with Ratma's Vigor. Very excited to test all these combinations. And some of these combinations will also help us reduce Mist's cooldown as well, which should make us even harder to kill, since whenever our blood skills overpower, the Mist cooldown will go down 2 seconds. There is a potential Blood Lance build where you constantly overpower back to back, heal yourself from Blood Lance consuming blood orbs and causing more overpowered with more chain reaction and then still reducing the cooldown of the Mist. It does sound super powerful actually. So with these ideas we have tons of survivability, and the more HP we stack, the more survival we get. We also do a lot more damage. Another change that has happened in the recent patch note is that also now Fortify will be off of max life. So considering we have around 40k HP, we'll be able to fortify much faster, almost immediately I would say. There are also some changes to overpowered, crit and vulnerability calculations, and I plan to go over them in a separate video, especially after I test how they work in PvP environment. There is a lot more to cover, but I wanted to quickly share some ideas with you before going into Season 2, so hopefully this was somewhat helpful. As always, I'm going to be focusing on the PvP side of things, and some of the changes will have different outcomes in PvP environment that I'm excited to test. But yes, overall I'm very hopeful for this tier crafting. Let me know what you think. If you have feedback, additional ideas that might work or might make it even better, please comment below. I have tons of other PvP Necro videos, check those out as well. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe to stay in touch. My Discord link is in description. We are a bunch of Necro nerds focusing PvP tier crafting every day, so very good place to meet some fellow Necro PvP enjoyers. More than welcome to join. With that being said, Lord Sora here. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys on the next one.